Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, the good, well, no, the bad, and the ugly. Very much so the ugly lately. I didn't even gel my hair. I'm so depressed. Stevie P, Vinny T, faithfully here every week. To you thousands and thousands of listeners. And as you may know, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
I know you bought me this beautiful table. Well, you expensed it for the podcast.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that this table's not going to make it until the end of the night.
No.
And before we get into putting... Because, you know, we like to put in perspective a president that's kind of lighthearted, makes you guys laugh a little bit. But I told Steve we should be starting off these things with some opening comments. Colin, he had a lot on his heart. He wrote us a couple of chapters on Facebook. I think it was after a couple of beers him and Mike were having over there. Frank, from again on the messenger.
Half wrestling, half soccer.
He was concerned for Bret Hart. Nobody touches our national treasure. Bret Hart, he's doing all right. And
sharpshooter.
And there was a WrestleMania weekend. Ended up had a good WrestleMania week, but not the Milan week. So, Steve, let's take 2 minutes. When was the last time me and you were together and we let our emotions get the best of us? We were mad.
Mad.
Even that Pezzi Pana Adriano, he was getting mad. The one that you were seeing angry. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it where I think I even told you, Steve, why can't they be the NFL? Okay, we reviewed, we saw this, we saw that. Give us an explanation, people. Don't give us, oh, well, there's going to be a meeting with the referees. And guys,
I don't want their apology.
And in no circumstances am I here saying, oh, the Juventus bought the refs. Guys, I'm not talking about that.
No.
And everybody's got their own comments about that. You know, obviously, Tom, we're going to be hearing about him after. But it's just frustrating when you have these kind of 50-50 calls not go your way. And it seems that they go mostly in the way of a team that doesn't need it. Juventus does not need this supposedly favoritism on calls. And again, if you guys want to talk about the handball, okay. So if you're saying there was so why don't you speak to Inter and Fiorentina, that 95th ball? It was the same thing down like that. They went to review it, and yeah, okay, it's still a penalty. Just explain to us what's going on, Steve. Just talk a little bit, and then we'll get into the things. Because, anyways,
we put the Presidente in perspective. We're gonna put the podcast opening comments in perspective. Nowhere, and no one in their right mind thought that Milan was gonna go to Allianz Arena, Allianz Stadium, whatever the hell they call it.
A tutta forza, the way they
tutta forza. Go to Allianz to pick up 3 points. No, we're not saying this. We've said it. We said it on the past podcast. We are Milan fans who are realists, and we understand that it's a tough place to play. Mm-hmm. It has not been kind to Milan ever since they opened this piece of junk.
Mm-hmm.
But what pisses me off the most is that, you know what? Again, Juve fielded their B team. And their B team came out in second gear. And it's not our problem that they fielded their B team. And it's not our problem that they came out in second gear. Milan came out in full gear.
Yeah.
And the first half, they took it to Juve. They had their chances. The handball, we're going to talk about it. You know, what pissed me off about the handball is how long it took the ref to go get VAR, to go see the VAR.
Yeah.
It was almost like he didn't want to go. That can't happen because that opens up a world of speculation, which already did. Fast forward, we knew, we laughed about it, and that's the sad part. We were together at the bar.
Steve's like,
I turned around and I said, they're not going to call it a penalty. He doesn't even want to go to VAR. So I was okay with that. And that's the sad part about it, is that I was okay with that. Then, pam, 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 scores. off a Bonucci giveaway.
And we
we're
were
just
like,
gonna put that in there.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, you know what? That's bittersweet for us. And
that was just. That was the soccer gods coming just.
And then what did you say after? Yeah, but guys, watch him. They're gonna get
Turned around to Mikey the Interist at Chacharo Bar.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna listen because he's an Interist. But I said, Mikey, there's 2 bets we're gonna have to put. 1, Juve is gonna tie this game. 2, Juve is gonna end up winning this game. And again, I'm mad at myself because I was okay with that. I was mad at the way it happened, but I was okay with that.
And I think that's where the problem lies. And I believe, guys, let's be honest. We made mistakes. We made mistakes against Juventus. And I don't want to say that, no alibis, like Gattuso was saying. The Musacchio. There's a lot of things that were missed. But we
The Musacchio. We're going to call it like as if it's a painting. The Musacchio.
In the end, we deserved a point to me. But we made a mistake. And Steve, I believe you tweeted out, they made us pay for our mistakes.
Yeah.
They did.
We made a mistake, and they made us pay for it.
Yeah.
They made mistakes, and we did not make them pay for it.
We did not. We're not going to talk about changes after we go down to 1. We're going to, it's just...
The Musacchio, which is this, I'm going to coin this one. I'm going to hashtag it.
Okay.
We're going to call it the Musacchio. I heard a lot of, he panicked. He needed to go. He's trying to defend. We've seen
he had a great game.
We've seen multiple defenders try to make that sliding challenge to block the shot. That's what he wants to do. He wants to block a shot. Is he out of position? Yeah. If you're committed to sliding to block the shot, you're out of position. Did he have to slide? My opinion, no. But when you look at it, and now tell me there's no VAR, impossible for the ref to say, you know what? Dybala was looking for that call and he initiated the contact. We have VAR, ladies and gentlemen. He did not even go to VAR.
And that's where the getting pissed off.
And the silent guy in his ear, what the hell was he doing? Was he passing a puñet? Did he feel good? Was it nice and warm? The 5 fingers were on it. He was about to.
If it's a family friendly.
He was about to go into ecstasy, that he couldn't say, "Hey, I think you might want to look at this."
We're gonna get into it.
The kicking out. Mandzukic, he's not allowed. You're not allowed to go back.
No.
It happened to Frank.
But we've seen goals. But hold on, there might have been an offside or a foul at the other end.
3 years later, no. The kicking out, you don't want to go.
Steve, put us in perspective, please. We got 5 presidential points this week. We're going to call Adamo. Adamo's from Tirana. He works for IFTV, DB, IFTV? IFTV, excuse me. Yeah, television. Good for you, Vinny. I'm all out of whack. Steve, this week we had a little
a lot of stuff going on, guys. A lot of stuff going on the Twitter. A lot of stuff going on our Milan Club Montreal chat, WhatsApp chat.
And you saw what happened firsthand, how those presidential points came to be. So,
yeah,
please enlighten us.
So, as Presidente was getting ready, Presidente has picked up a new hobby. Okay, so he knits. Okay, as he was knitting down in the basement, his glorious wood-furnished, which was made by his own hands, no splinters on those beautiful accountant hands. He looks down, Vinny, to his phone. Because he puts, he's knitting, bang. He hears bloop, bloop, bang. Looks down to his phone, Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
As he sees his phone, he sees this conversation happening. Where people, Milan Club members, are trying to calculate what would happen if Napoli would lose. Would Juve win the championship with the amount of games remaining? Or with a win against Milan, of course.
I think it was Milan legend saying anyways they're going to win the Scudetto on Saturday.
Yeah.
And he started talking about numbers. No,
Milan legend. We love you. But please don't enter into the realm of numbers with you, Presidente. Because next to his phone, there's always the pencil. Nicely sharpened, ladies and gentlemen. As he reached his pencil, he took out Hilroy copybook, not spiraled.
Not spiral.
No. You know the ones that are pastel colors with the religious sign inside that says Jesus? That's the one that he took out. And the calculator. He was going and he was writing. Knitting at the same time, taking two steps.
Variables.
And, variables, and he was calculating different angles of precipitude and isosceles triangles. As he calculated everything, he came to the euphoria that he was wrong.
So basically, the way it went down, the way it went down, it was Milan Ledge. Like, anyways, there. So Presidente. What are you talking about? There's 21 times 3, 12 points. And after all the series of messages, at the end he just writes, oh, yeah, that's if Roma loses. I guess you were right. And that was awesome. But Milan legends, please, never, ever talk numbers
with El
Presidente. So let's give him a call. Adamo, right? Put it directly over there.
This is the guest.
It's a Canada White calling plan. You know, it's all good from over here. Let's see if he picks up.
Ciao, guys.
Live from Tirana. Well, you know, they're in the playoffs and we're not. We have live. I don't know if it's raining over there the way it's ice raining over here. Adamo from IFTV. Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, guys. I'm honored to be here. I'm doing fantastic, and the weather's okay in Toronto, but could be a lot better. How are you guys doing?
We're doing. We had Steve has been banging the table since the beginning, as you can hear.
Right.
And
correct.
we were. I think we were letting out a bit of emotions, and I said before we break more stuff, let's call Adamo. Let's get into these presidential points. But before we get into these presidential points, plug yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. How you became a Milanista. How you like long walks on the beach. What you do for IFTV. Go ahead. This is your time.
Of course. Well, as you did say, I am a member of IFTV. We're doing a ton of stuff over there. You can catch us at IFTV Official on Twitter and at Italian Football TV on Instagram. Over on IFTV, I had a lot of the Twitter stuff, a lot of the content creation, the video creation, all that sort of jazz behind the scenes. We're doing a lot of cool stuff, and this summer it's going to be big for us, working with a lot of players and potentially doing some big plans that we can't say just yet. But how I became a Milanista. Now, this is an interesting story because nobody even in my immediate family, outside of my brother, are into calcio the way me and him are. Besides my nono maybe, who's, let's not talk too much about him. He's a bit of a Juventus fan, but, we'll keep him out of the conversation. But there was no family team to sort of pass down that my dad was a Milanista, or there's none of that going on. So, I had to sort of take my own initiative. And when I was young, I always loved Fiorentina. I loved their jerseys, and I always liked Totti on Roma, and this is way back in the day when I was about 5 or 6 years old. But then there was always this mystical, this aura of Milan that I always kept hearing about when I would go to events, or if I would go to stores, you always see AC Milan everywhere. They had the best marketing in North America, and I would always see them on TV. And when I would watch them, I would get this warm feeling. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a team, forget Totti, forget the beautiful Fiorentina jersey. I'm going to go with this because they're giving me this special feeling, and, this is something I'm going to latch onto. And then, signed the contract of my life that, caused me into a manic depression for the past 10 years. But it is what it is, guys. We move on.
It is it is what it is, and no matter what happens, always the love for Milan. And we're going to get straight into it because we have a lot of things to talk about. Presidente sent over five very eloquently written presidential points. But how does he, I was going to ask you, Steve, how does he go from the Hilroy spiral notebook to perfectly written emails? He's got, he scans it through the scanner and then he sends it to us via PDF.
Presidente has a network of translators for
okay, gotcha.
who take his written work and transcribe it to technology.
Gotcha. Thank you. So, point number one, shocked, not shocked. Our brother and Radio Rossonera director Pietro was at J Stadium sitting with several other Milan reporters in the press area.
Ben fatto.
When the ref went to VAR on Alessandro's handball, they were convinced it was a PK. The sad part, he said, is when Milan didn't get the PK, nobody was surprised.
Boom.
There's so many other things we can go over and suggest you look at the breakdown of all the missed calls on the Radio Rossonera's video, which you can see on the Twitter machine. So question to you first, Damo. What angers you more about the loss? The fact that we are not shocked with the inconsistencies and calls going against Milan, or the individual errors that gifted both of Juve's goals?
I mean, you can't help but be frustrated at the calls. It's, of course, you could say, oh, Piontek scored after and whatever, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, a referee's decision can't change the game, and it did. But that being said, for me, it's the individual errors, because you cannot control what a referee does. You cannot control what call he makes, whether it's this or that. For those who watch UFC or MMA, a lot of fighters always say you never want to leave the fate in the judge's hands, just because control what you can control. And the errors are what we control, and we gifted Juve some pretty big goals. So for me, that brought a lot of anger, especially seeing what, Calabria, winning the ball back and just passing it straight to Juve. And, of course, they slotted home. But for me, it's the individual errors, because those are the things that you can't control as players and as a system and as a team. Whereas the referee, they do their job and they do what they do, and everybody has their opinions on that. But for me, it's the individual errors.
Steve, how about you? Do you go with the inconsistencies or the the mistakes that Juventus made us pay?
I'm torn. I'll tell you this. I agree with Adamo. You don't want to leave the match in the hands of the officiating. The officiating is put into play to officiate the game. Tell me before VAR, I would have said, you know what? Very hard to pick out those two instances there. Now, with VAR in play, it's magnified twofold. They're not only things that they've missed, they're things, and correct me if I'm wrong, today they actually admitted that they were wrong on. That's what pisses me off, because yes, you don't want to leave the game to the hands of the official, but there's things in play, like VAR, video assistance referee, with another guy, que spara la pugnette, silent guy, in the background, okay? Where he's supposed to say, you know what? And I don't even blame that ref. That ref is taking all the crap, justly so, for some of the things that he did not call, but no one's talking about the VAR guy.
But the VAR guy doesn't make decisions.
The VAR guy needs to make the ref aware that there is something that is reviewable.
Which he did.
He did on the first. He did not with the Musacchio. He did not with the Mandzukic kick out on Romagnoli.
Yeah.
So then why do we have these things in play? That's what I'm frustrated about. Tell me we would have got killed 4-0 by Juve A. You know what?
And even with these kind of inconsistencies, we would have beaten 4 or 5-0. Okay, guys, we got destroyed. We got destroyed, but there would have still been instances that we were going to be talking about. Now, it's just, 1 point or 3 points. Because I'm not convinced, if they don't get that penalty shot, I'm not convinced Juve did enough to get a goal. I'm not convinced. Because they were really on second gear. And playing their B team. And 2, those points for us are 100 times more important than they are to Juve, and 100 more times important to those teams below us that we did not get them. It's going to come to a point, guys, and Adamo, correct me if I'm wrong, the inconsistencies of VAR will cost someone, A, a Champions League spot, or B, someone being relegated for no reason.
Very true.
It's going to come to that.
It's going to come to that.
It's going to come to that. And then, okay, so you apologize, you made a mistake. Yeah, that's great.
Apology. Let's go to the apology, okay? And Adamo, I'm going to ask you this question.
Right.
What's the point of the Italian Referee Association coming to Milan to sit with Gattuso and Romagnoli after you shit the bed in a game that we played to apologize for calls that you did not make and affected the results of our game. What is the point of that?
To me, it's like I don't get what that does. Like, I understand, you're trying to say, oh, we're owning up to our mistakes, but realistically, a monkey could understand that when Mandzukic is kicking up and acting out, that's something you could easily see with VAR. And like you said, maybe in the past when we didn't have that tool, you could say, okay, the ref had his back turned, not everybody saw it, whatever. But when you have video replay, I feel like saying, oh, we're sorry it's like committing a crime and trying to apologize like that's going to do anything. I don't understand how that's supposed to. I appreciate the gesture, but I don't think Romagnoli and especially Gattuso will just accept that as what it is.
Too little.
As you guys mentioned,
too
little. Potentially take us out of the championship.
Too little, too late.
Too little,
That's
too
what
late.
it comes down to.
And another thing, we tried to put 700 refs around the field. Remember the back ref?
Yeah, the 5 refs on the
before goal line technology?
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, remember that back ref who missed his goal de Montari? Well, that didn't work either, guys. So, back ref didn't work against Juve.
Now we have video.
VAR doesn't work against Juve. Puro Bambino Jesus refing this game is not going to work against Juve.
Point number 2. Rinse, repeat. We've seen the pattern repeat itself when Milan faces Juve. Milan is going full throttle. Juve is giving 50% effort. When Juve puts it in the higher gear, Milan starts making mistakes, and Juve capitalizes on its few chances, and Milan loses. Who do you blame more for these individual blunders who have gifted Juve goals? The players or the Gattuso who can't get them to concentrate and play a full 90 minutes? Like, it seems that we're asking the same questions over and over again. Do we blame players? Do we blame Gattuso? Do we... It's... Let's go with. Do you think it was a Gattuso thing from not changing? Anyways, he wasn't gonna change Calabria to say or something like that. Like he screwed up Calabria.
Right.
But where do you stand on this? Did you see me? I don't have no problem with the players. Yeah, okay, there was a mistake made, but I don't know. Where do you stand on this one, Ada?
It's tough. I mean, I think it's 100% the coach's job to prepare you mentally, and I think that the aura of the locker room, the approach you have to the game. The way you set up, the way you step onto the pitch is all down to the coach and the mentality that you go out there with. So for Calabria to do that, he was clearly panicking. He was clearly in a state of being anxious and, not knowing exactly what to do. But I do think it's a little bit of both because I also don't think that, Calabria is a player that has, of course he shouldn't be making that mistake. And of course he has enough talent to not make that mistake. But I think at some point you crack. And I think maybe that was his point. And Juve are just too good where they, capitalize on the opportunity where if you're playing a different team, it's just, it's a mistake and it goes by. It doesn't cost you the game. But I do think it's a little bit of both because I do think he cracked because maybe he doesn't have the mental fortitude to actually push through the entire 90 minutes without having a single lapse in his mindset or whatever it may be. But then again, there is a big thing on Gattuso in which, he sets them up. He's the one who speaks to them before the game at halftime and, tries to build that mental strength. So I do think he's responsible for the players having the mental strength. So, if I had to give a percentage, maybe 70% Gattuso, 30% the players.
All right. Steve, do you even want to answer this? Because
I'm going to flip it.
Huh?
I'm going to flip it. I say it's 30% Gattuso, 70% the players.
Okay. Why?
Gattuso could prepare the players for months. What Calabria did, and guys, let's go back to the first Landata. Not L'Eritor, Landata. Landata, the game changed when Laxalt gave away the ball.
Mm-hmm.
We shit on Laxalt. We went mental. Now, Laxalt, Calabria. Calabria is a better player than Laxalt.
Mm-hmm.
We are in love with Calabria. I'm a fan. Do I think he's the best right back we have? No. But am I a fan? Yes. Am I going to shit on him now that he gave away the ball like someone who plays AA soccer? Yes, I am. Because that is AA. And you know what, Adamo? Correct me if I'm wrong. You played soccer. I played soccer. Vinny absolutely did not play soccer.
No.
When you're in trouble and when you're panicking, and especially in the pros, it's not a bad thing to boot the ball up the field. You have a 21 goal scorer who already proved in this game that he can create something on his own because he destroyed Bonucci in the end of the first half or the beginning of the second half. Destroyed Bonucci and whoever his partner was at that time. Mm-hmm. And because of a missed control, didn't get a shot on net, but whatever. That was one of our mistakes.
Yeah.
But he was able to create something. So booting it up was not going to be a problem. There was no reason for him to make that pass.
No, definitely not.
Mm-hmm. And Gattuso cannot foresee all these situations. There's no way to prepare for that. That's on the player, guys. It cannot be on Gattuso.
That's definitely on the player.
Mentality, body language throughout the game. I get it, 100%. Not a mental lapse like that.
Like it comes down to like if it wasn't for that mistake, guys, everybody, Keane, what a goal! We gave you that goal, Keane. So it's just I think we would have came out with a 1-1.
Pjanic gave him that goal.
Yeah, well,
and that's credit to Allegri. That's how much depth they have. And you know what? They were Juve B in second gear, and they put in a couple of players to get them into first gear. It wasn't Keane, it was Pjanic.
What I'm saying is that I think it would have ended 1-1.
And I agree. I agree. I know what you're trying to say. Keane. Pjanic makes that fantastic ball.
Yeah.
Where he almost didn't even have to take a control. Go to the next point, Vinny, as I'm pissed off.
PK, where are thou? He's even with the old English style. Milan has been unlucky when it comes to penalties. And in fact, the last time Milan was awarded a PK was 17 games ago against Parma when Kessie converted. Question, are you a conspiracy theorist that thinks that the refs have it against us to not award us penalties, or do you attribute this problem to Milan's style of play that seems not aggressive enough that would create chances to get penalties when in the opponent's box? I don't.
What the hell do you have in your throat?
I don't know. I think I need some more water. But are you one of these conspiracy guys where like we're gonna be calling Tommy probably later? He's gonna give us some
guaranteed because he's gonna find some kind of double agent from MI6 who is infiltrating the Italian referees.
So what do you attribute for us not getting any penalties?
I mean, a lot of people talk about the numbers and how Milan are in this position where I'm sure they have one of the least penalties given or something of that sort. But I'm not one that thinks that they're all conspiring in the back, saying, "Okay, we're going to screw Milan. We're going to do this. We're going to do that." I don't think Milan gets players in the situations as frequently as other teams. I don't think we have as many, or at least in the past, in the beginning of the season, had as many players that were, playing that beautiful style where, that you could give them the ball and they could take on their man. Besides Suso, but he would do it on the, outside of a box just to get a cross to swing in.
Wait, Adamo. Who did you say?
I said Suso.
Suso.
Oh my God, I even forgot he played for Milan. Go ahead, sorry about that.
But, you got guys like, for example, Dybala, who's centrally, he's known as a great dribbler, and, he's a guy that, as we can see with that foul, looks for the contact. He knows how to get penalties, if you know what I'm trying to say. So, I don't think Milan have that style of player, and, we got a guy like Paqueta who's, he's a great passer of the ball. He moves up well, and maybe in the future with guys like Piontek as well, who attract a lot of attention, we'll be getting those calls, but I don't think that referees are actually against Milan. That's just a personal opinion, but I think that, Serie A refs are just atrocious at this point, and I think there's a lot of inconsistencies going around and a lot of things that they need to fix.
Steve, do you even want to answer? What do you attribute?
We don't. I'm not gonna go conspiracy. I don't believe in that. I love the game. I love Calcio. I love Serie A. I'm not a big fan of how unfortunate it is with this reffing situation and their lack of using the actual technologies they have on their hands to get these penalty calls right. But guys, let's face it, Milan doesn't do enough to get themselves in dangerous positions where defenders have no choice to take them down in the box or need to stick out a foot, and it will become so predictable. And the most dangerous guy that we have is Piontek. And he's in the box, and yes, he's getting covered by 2-3 guys because everybody else is outside the box, not willing to get dirty, taking shots from outside the box, which I don't mind, but we don't do enough to get the attention that is merited of a penalty shot or even a dubious penalty shot. look at all the ones that we get. They're handballs. They're they're things that unfortunately that will just happen with the run of play. They're not stuff that we create and we're dangerous and we throw in a through ball that takes out two defenders and one defender has to take us down in the box. It doesn't happen to us. We're not there yet. And like Adamo said, we have Paqueta, who seems to have some flair and some fantasia in him. That can we get there? Yes. We're gonna need to raise the quality. Suso, we talked about Suso as well. I don't even remember the last time I saw Suso in the box.
No.
But he didn't have a bad game against you.
He didn't have a good game either.
No, but it's a lot better than the last ones. Point number 4. Milan shows the signs of life. After a loss to Samp and draw with Udinese, many of us felt Milan would lose versus Juve if it continued playing the way it was.
No shit, Presidente. No
Yet,
shit.
putting aside the individual errors and horrible reffing VAR, Milan showed signs of life and actually played much better than expected. Your initial question was when you saw the starting 11 and Gattuso going back to the 4-3-3, and he says, obviously I was happy because Capitan Futuro was there, Borini. What was your original reaction to the 4-3-3 and the Borini starting, by the way, that Borini, every time he started, those 3 times, we've never lost.
Until Saturday.
Until Saturday. But what were your feelings when you saw that formation?
I'm glad. I'm glad because this is the formation that the players are used to. This is a formation that I think, a lot of people on Twitter, they love to argue about, we should play the 4-2-3-1, we should play this and that. But I think, for what we have chemistry-wise and what the players know and what Gattuso knows, I think the 4-3-3 is clearly best suited for Milan, especially how we saw they performed against Juve. Now, regards to Fabio Borini, the legend himself, I would rather see Castillejo, but as you mentioned, we, the past couple games had a loss with Borini, so I appreciate his work rate, and I know that we need somebody to do the dirty work against Juve, but I think we need, going back to the penalty situation, players that can, be a bit more tricky, a bit more beautiful. I'm not saying Castillejo is this Neymar-type player, but he's got some speed on him, he's got some dribbling, and I think he's that type of player that could potentially get into those situations down the line once Milan actually bolsters up and figures out how to play that certain style and get into those positions. But happy to see the 4-3-3, and I think that it's definitely the way to go, especially how we saw Milan perform in the 2 games previous to that with different formations. It was nice to see Paqueta in that, Kaká role, but I still think that this is ideal, although it is sad to see Cutrone on the bench. I'd rather stick with the 4-3-3 personally.
Steve, I know you were saying Castillejo didn't have the greatest game. He looked like a chicken without his head the last game. Maybe that's why he hadn't started, but you share
That's the big difference, guys. That's exactly it. We have to start Borini. A team like Juve has not even a Borini on the team.
Yeah.
That's the big difference, guys. And that's the difference in the Serie A. Is they don't have a Borini on the team. We have a couple of injuries, some bad games from some players, and we have to start Borini. Again, I laugh, I joke, appreciate the guy, works really hard, but unfortunately, it's not gifted to him, you understand?
Yeah.
It's not something that comes natural to him. He's got to work. And you know what? He'll score a goal. I don't mind him against Udine. I don't mind him against Chievo. I don't mind him against the teams that work just as hard, if not harder than us sometimes. But against the Juve, if you wanted to make a statement, I think he had to try something a bit different. Was it going to work out? I don't know. My personal opinion, with the injuries and everything, I would have shot the 2 strikers back up there again. Look how much trouble Juve has with just Piontek. And imagine having Piontek and Cutrone. And if you want these 2 guys to ever, I don't know what your plans are for the future, I really don't care. As long as you get me to Champions League. But if you want these 2 guys to play on the field at the same time, they need minutes together. They have to find a role for each other.
And I'm gonna take the second part question and the last presidential points, and I'm gonna put them all together.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, I'm a crazy guy.
I can't believe it.
Me, I'm gonna say one thing, guys, and we're gonna talk about the preparation against Lazio. For me, there was one big factor that was changed between the Sampdoria and Udinese game to this one, and that's Frank Kessie. Frank Kessie, when was the last time you guys saw Milan start off like that? And it just seems to, I'm not saying that he carried a team on his back, but you saw that there's an impact, and the kid was going at it. And I remember that Maurizio was saying, I want to see him, how he's going to play at the beginning. We'll see if he's not giving his all, you see that something's wrong, or maybe he got into a fight with management. But to me, that changing factor, Kessie was there against Juve, where we showed up, and he was not there against Sampdoria, and he was not there against Udinese, and it showed. So now, preparing against Lazio, for me, Kessie is not even a discussion, right? Do you guys, let's close off with this one. You go back to the 4-3-3 against Lazio, or do you go with two strikers? Or maybe a 4-2, I don't know, 4-2-1-2? 4-2-1-2, yeah, something like that. Anyways, what do you think we should do?
I would go with the 4-3-3 and, stick with Kessie. I mean, I think that, this season we've seen this guy hasn't been benched at all. And I think he's got a lot of criticism, and I understand that he hasn't had the best games. And, at some points, a lot of people question what he does. But just as you pointed out, the 2 games he's not there, you see exactly what he does, because there's a gaping hole, and Milan aren't able to cope with the pressure. So I think that it was a much-needed rest for him. He came back ready against Juve, and as you said, I think he's 100% easy against Lazio. But I would stick with the 4-3-3 personally.
4-3-3, Steve, would you try
He's not trying nothing. I would love to say that he's going to try something.
4-3-1-2?
No, he's going to stay with the 4-3-3. I don't think we're going to see Borini again, so he might plop someone else in there. Mix of, I guess, Castillejo or whatever you want to put. It's pretty much the only option he has.
Çalhanoğlu needs to stay in the midfield.
Yeah.
Now, Çalhanoğlu needs to stay in the midfield with Kessie and Bakayoko. You have Billy as an option. But in the end, I think the discussion comes down, guys, to are we going with 2 strikers or not? Probably not if we're going to go to this 4-3-3. Or if you are down, or if it's 0-0, well, just go ahead and, shoot for the stars and bring on that second striker. So we'll see.
They're never going to do that.
We'll see what happens on Saturday. In the end, Adamo, let me ask you before we bid you adieu. Are we making Champions League or not?
A tough question. You're putting me in a tough position, but
that's what we're all about.
I have to say we will. I can't imagine anything else. I think this is the season. I think AC Milan is back in Champions League, and despite it all the turbulence, all the ups and downs, I think Lazio have been worse. So AC Milan are making it in.
The only reason I'm with you on that one is because we're talking about on the way here, Steve, is like, how in the blue hell are we in 4th spot? Everybody was having the perfect, and if Lazio was going to lose that game that they scored in the 95th minute, 96th minute,
Mm-hmm.
like everybody seems that they don't want to take over the spot. They're just
no
like,
one wants
lose it.
spot.
Nobody wants. Atalanta's there, whatever. But even if Lazio wins their game in hand, they're still like a point behind. This is all open. Steve, are we making Champions League, or what?
I still believe, guys, the race for Champions League is on. No one wants it. It's time. Someone's gonna have to step up. And someone's gonna try to go get this shot, and I don't think 3rd place is out of the order. Is out of the way yet.
Oh, boy.
Inter's schedule is very tough, guys. Speaking to my Interiste friends, their schedule's tough. They have some tough games.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3rd spot is open too. 3 and 4 are open. 2, Napoli managed to, I don't know, tie a 10-man Genoa.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens. I don't know if they wanted to give Juve an early Christmas gift, but hey. Napoli's stuck in 2nd. 3rd and 4th are open. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are open. Let's put it that way. Serie A is competitive, guys. And you know what? We saw Spal gave a hard time to Lazio. Sassuolo giving a hard time to Lazio as well. Sampdoria and Roma this weekend. Wasn't an easy win for Roma.
Yeah. No, so everything seems to be going our way. So io ci credo, we all believe, we need to believe. So Adamo, before you let us go, give us your last plug where we can find your fine work on the internet machine.
You can check us out at IFTV Official on Twitter and at Italian Football TV on Instagram. I am Adamo Taco on Twitter if you want to see what I'm doing. Not too much. Most of it's over on IFTV, so go check us out over there.
Always entertaining stuff
Yeah.
over there with on the
Adamo,
guys.
thank you very much, and pass a message to my friends there at IFTV. I'm size extra large, so if they want to send me one of those Pistolero T-shirts that I'll wear here on the podcast, Vinny's
Right.
small or a medium, but tell them I want to talk to Antonio. I want to be on with Antonio. The Presidentes tried to get me on, but it seems like they don't want me to be on. I don't know if they're intimidated by the greatness of my physical structure.
Yes, maybe that's probably it.
But give them that message, and I hope to listen to the podcast, and I hope to be on soon.
Beautiful. We'll keep in touch. Thank you very much, guys.
Have a good night. So,
What a guest. What a guess. What a
Presidente comes through again. With,
He comes in the clutch, gives us always something. 40 minutes flew by like that, guys. If you're in your car and you're touching your shifter, or do they have shifters anymore? Whatever, yeah. It's 40 minutes, guys. This is what we do. We aim to entertain.
Just wanted to read you out what Colin had written out.
Let's go to the Twitter machine.
Milan Club Dublin wearing the hoodie over here. So topic for the podcast tomorrow should be the meeting with the AIA and Milan following the partial refereeing during Juventus game. They will attempt to apologize and admit mistakes. I, for one, cannot accept an apology. It's not enough. We deserved the 3 points. We were the better team. Hakan should have gotten a yellow card against Bernardeschi. Shouldn't have. The Dybala penalty was actually a foul on Musacchio, so Dybala should have been booked. I understand some people saying the Alexandro handball isn't the penalty. That's the problem with the handball rule. It's very gray and needs to be clarified. Did he intentionally have the arm out? Probably, but he was also sliding down, so it's a natural reflex and may have been trying to put his arm into the body. Then Bonucci and Costileo, I believe, and Piantek. I just want referees to be fair and consistent regardless of the team the player plays for. They need to be objective and enforce the rules. This could be the start of a new scandal, and if it is, I want to see real reforms come from this, as it's not good for Serie A internationally. It cuts off investment in the club and the league, so everyone suffers apart from Juventus, it seems. I get you.
Big words, brother.
I get where you're coming from. A lot of emotions, and speaking with your heart on your sleeve. Look, a scandal is coming, reform is coming. I think it's.
Serie A doesn't need another scandal.
No, Serie A doesn't need a scandal, but it does look very poorly on not only the first league to adopt the VAR, to have stuff like this, and it's just, for whether it be personal opinion, when the referees come out and say, we fucked up on that one, well, and once again, what is that going to do? You're going to give us back 3 points? It's like, anyways. But thanks, Colin.
But there's nothing wrong with Serie A, and I commended them. We commended them.
Yes, we did.
On being the first to introduce VAR. Because it was a risk.
It was.
The risk was exactly what's happening now. First season it's kind of like the honeymoon stage. You're going to glide by. There might not be any crazy things that affect. Mm-hmm. But then like year 2 and 3. Year 2 you have to improve. You cannot digress. Serie A and VAR has digressed. They've gotten worse. Is it because there's no clarity? Yes. Is it because no one knows exactly what and what they cannot call? Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, now, year 2, let's forget about year 2. And we're saying let's forget about it, and there's still games left. Which, I'm going to say again, if they don't clean up their act, an apology might not be enough, because you're going to either get someone relegated, make someone lose a European spot, or a Champions League spot. It's not going to be a race for the Scudetto, because that's over. But it's going to cost people a lot of money. And once you start hitting people's pockets, the clubs and the presidents are not going to be too kind to you anymore. Now, again, I'm going to say it again. And if people who have heard it, they're going to say, you know what, he's repeating himself. I don't care. If you are going to adapt something like this, VAR, which is brand new to European sports, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know any other sports that have it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if rugby had it before them. But I'm just saying, let's say it's first for European sports. Go to the people that have done it.
I think that would be like the normal thing to do, Steve. It's just...
Yeah. Go. NFL goes and play at Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, they go. Someone from Serie A, go watch the goddamn football game. You don't want to talk to anybody in the NFL because you're too proud? Go watch the football game and see the way they're going to see. They're going to use their VAR.
And as we are under pressure, we're going to go to the Twitter machine and then we're going to call Tommy because I think he's itching. He's itching for sure.
You know what would be funny? We just don't call Tommy.
He's going to freak out.
He's in a rage.
Milan Legends, first one up on the board. Actually, you know what?
Milan Legends.
We're gonna swerve. No, we're gonna swerve once again. We're gonna swerve to the calcio.
Kazuko's number 2.
Buonasera, Milan Weekly Post.
Adriano.
Would you guys say that Saturday's game was one of, if not the best performances for Milan in a while? Also, with Atalanta now tied with Milan, if they're going to pass them, do you see Milan having enough to regain top 4 and does no Champions League a failure? I think so. No Champions League would be a failure. Because they had said at the beginning. And I think we are going to do it because, Atalanta's tied. But, guys, we could have been in 6th place after this weekend. We could have been in 6th place. So
we could have been in 3rd place if we beat Sampdoria and we beat Udine.
Yeah.
We could have been in 3rd place.
But
that's the way I look at it. That's what pisses me off the most.
Guys, but Steve,
drop points.
1 point out of a possible 9.
Yep.
Think about that. And we're still tied for 4th spot. Atalanta, guys,
Does
is not
that
going to
remind you about last year's race for the Champions League?
When
Where Inter went
on,
didn't win for 3 months? It's possible, guys. Milan Twitter needs to chill out, man.
Yeah.
They need to smoke some cannabis. If you guys are not all in Canada or close to Canadian friends, cannabis is legal in Canada now.
Yes, it is.
Where we are very, very relaxed. I myself am not a cannabis smoker.
Mm-hmm.
I like the beverage. I'm a vodka guy. Vinny dabbles in the cannabis. Did I say that? I said it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you gotta mellow out, me on Twitter. We gotta chill as a community. We cannot be fighting against each other all the time. It's on Twitter machine. There's always fighting.
Why is there fighting?
Everybody is entitled to an opinion.
But please,
you
please
could be
think.
right. I could be wrong. But think before you tweet, guys. Think before you tweet.
So, Milan Legends does ask if it all comes down to decide what do we change in Serie A. The refs, the rules, parts of the rules, the Juve plus ref partnership. Milan Legends. I know you're taking little jabs maybe over there, Tommy, but I think the rules concerning VAR, I think that should be reviewed.
Consistency is key.
Exactly, because, there's been a lot of times, guys, that we have like, oh my God, they did it good. They did a good. I can't cough anymore.
It's a lot of coughing in this podcast. People are listening.
It's a lot of
to
coughing.
us.
It's a lot of coughing. What do you want me to do? It was a long night. Just give us consistency, and just tell us what goes into the decision making. That's all. That's the only thing we want to do.
Transparency with the refs would help too. So if someone would be, there's a head of the ref association, I would give a little bit more responsibility to this person.
Mm-hmm.
So you are selecting the refs for the games on however criteria you pick.
Yeah.
If there's a game like what happened against Juve Milan, Mr. Ref needs to address. Mr. Ref needs to be on 90 minuto, tiki-tac, whatever, and get fielded and bombarded with the questions. Feel the pressure, because you are under pressure.
I think that was a good one. I think in the end, it's just. Anyways, you know what? I think we're gonna talk for 2 hours today. Taking it old school.
Oh.
Tapiwa.
Tapiwa.
He's always asking
brother.
questions. With or without Champions League football, does Bakayoko stay?
Without you.
Oh, I get it. Without Champions League, does he stay?
No.
I would probably say no. I don't think they'd have the money to make it happen. I don't see them selling somebody that's worth 35, 40 million. Then again, who knows? How important has the head-to-head game with Lazio become now with Milan's poor run? Guys, it's our Champions League final.
Finals.
That's it.
We have 7 finals, guys.
Gattuso said San Siro is going to be our 12th man. That's what it comes down to, guys. Yeah, there's no ifs,
Last
ands,
I
or
heard,
buts.
there's they're looking to open Il Terzo Anello, the 3rd ring of San Siro for a Lazio game. That's very big.
Extremely big. Andre Milan fan. I think Andre is from the Ukraine, Shevchenko country.
Yes, Andre.
Here are the questions. What is the best role for Hakan and which formation? Would you change Rodriguez? Okay, so the best role for Hakan and which formation? I think definitely in the midfield. I think we've seen it like as a winger. I don't think it's worked that many. But Steve, I think I'd like to see him like just behind the strikers. I think he would shine. I think he would shine under the behind the strikers. What do you think?
I think, again, if you give this guy, and I'm not a Hakan fan. Everybody knows that. I'm not. Would I like to see someone like Hakan come off the bench? If you want to take a bench role, yes. In the starting 11 in the Champions League, if I see Hakan, I'm not too comfortable. Which position would I put him in to try to make him flourish? Let's pull out the videos, guys. Pull out the videos of where he used to play and how he used to be free and how he used to have a little bit of less. The same thing like I say with Paqueta, you have to say with Hakan. Less defensive responsibility, more offensive responsibility.
I think it's plain to see on that one there. And he's asking Ricardo Rodriguez, would you replace him with another fullback? I don't see anything that merits for us to
we don't have another left back right now, Andre.
And
we don't have another left back.
And I would like right now he's been doing his job. I think honestly, other than Musacchio, I think he's been the most consistent guy. Like never having incredible. He's done his job.
Whoa, Romagnoli's been consistent.
That's true. Sorry, I'm saying from over there. And for our homegrown players, should they get approximately over under 500 minutes in Milan first team or full seasons on loan? That's a good question. For our own...
It depends.
Should they get approximately over 500 minutes in AC Milan first team or full seasons on loan?
It depends. 500 minutes of actual game time, I don't even know if we have that in it to give them.
I think it would be what, five games in total, 6 games in total. Do we have enough? I think the full season on loan to just be in the back and just learn and
it has to be a perfect blend. The loan, guys, I know a lot of people hate loans. It changes people's career. You can weed out the ones that are fatto per la Serie A or not fatto per la Serie A. That's the way I look at it.
That's true. It's a good point. Milan Club Toronto, Maurizio. Does Zen music make Steve even more upset? Just at the thought that someone or something is trying to make him calm down. I am trying to make him calm down.
It's not working tonight, Maurizio.
No, he's not Zen.
Nothing. There's nothing Zen about this body.
You know what surprises me is that Presidente used to tell me, Vince, you have to watch it when you put your elbows down or I'm doing like these little things, and this guy's slapping table. It's funny when he slaps the table. The Pales Milanista. Who is this over here? Il Diavolo from the Netherlands. He's Dutch. Just like Alistair Black. He's fantastic. He used to be Tommy Andy. He had his WrestleMania moment yesterday. Would you try to put Caldara instead of Musacchio?
Yes.
If not yet, when? Yes, I'll definitely try that out at this point. Would you take the Brazilian Everton or Deulofeu back? Or someone else? Everton, I haven't heard much about it. I've read about him. At this point, I don't know. Deulofeu, I think that window has passed. Sailed. Yeah, that ship has sailed, so I will probably, all depending of price, obviously, if Everton doesn't
I want new blood. I want new blood, and I trust Leonardo with his Brazilians. He brought us Kaká.
Looking forward to hear you guys, Tommy, especially after Saturday's big comedy.
We're gonna call. Okay, that's it. That's the segue. That's the segue to Tommy time. Guaranteed. There's polemiche. There's Juve. Sono una merda. What else is?
They bought the
Scudetto. Once again, they won with the help of the refs. I'm predicting that.
We're already at 55 minutes. Holy shit.
Tommy's not answering. He's pissed off at us.
He's getting mentally prepared.
No.
He usually gets the call a bit later.
Yeah.
We're recording a bit. He's gonna call us back for sure. AC Milan Guru. Hope you guys are well. Thank you very much. Not going mad like me. I am still very positive about us finishing 4th.
Very good.
What do you think the referees with Gattuso and Romagnoli amongst the other camp? What do you think AIA met with Why do you think to apologize? Like a bunch of idiots. If they just ref games correctly, we wouldn't have this circus. Guys, it's easy for us to talk about on our side, like, oh, refs this and that. They don't, the job. I'm sure it's a very hard job, but the thing is, like, when is enough going to be enough? You know what I mean? So it just, anyways, Steve, do you have anything to add to that? Just referee games correct. We just want consistency. We don't even want them correctly. Yeah. We want consistency.
We want consistency from the refs and VAR.
And VAR, exactly. I think that's about it, Steve. I don't think we got that many questions. So Milan, Tapiwa, Andre from the Ukraine. Yeah, okay. I think that's it because I went to latest.
What's Antelope saying?
Huh? Frank, let me go see what he's saying on the Facebook Messenger. How do I get to those messages? This one.
La 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 la.
As usual, Rubentus needs the help. Sweet Justice. No, I think he wasn't going too crazy on this one. He just said that they needed.
This wrestling stuff screwed us up.
Why?
Because I don't know. A lot of people are very mellow. I don't know if they were happy with what happened in WrestleMania.
You're saying that all our fans watch wrestling. Probably 1 out of 10. But until we try to call him again, Steve. Saturday. Do you need to be alone on Saturday? Are we gonna?
I need to be with my club members.
The club members, exactly, guys. Please come out. I know it was Saturday noon. Guys are working, families, whatever, and we had Mauricio, which was we need to call him. Yeah. We need to call. He's very. What was he saying? That Bakayoko's third leg. Bakayoko's third leg assisted on the goal to be, and he was livid. He was really livid.
He left.
And
he left.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he couldn't take it anymore. And I think it was really. Steve, do you think we were so frustrated and so mad because we walked in, obviously not expecting anything? Do you think we got to that level of being mad because they made us believe?
No, I think a lot of us subconsciously, or like myself, realized that this was going to just end bad. And it's not even to feel like, at 1-0, did I feel we were going to dominate the game and put 2-3-0 behind them? No, never. And that's unfortunately.
But we didn't take our foot off the pedal after that.
We didn't. But we didn't make Juve pay for their mistakes. And you know that the field was gonna flip, and the field flipped. And our mistakes, we paid for them.
Yes, we did.
Those penalty shots, we talked about it in the car ride home. We went together to the car. Tommy time.
Yes, sir. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Mr. Tommy. How are you?
I'm very, very upset with what happened on Saturday.
I know, and we've had some comments where people are waiting. People are waiting for your for your comments.
I'm very, very upset that they put this guy Fabri, who put him there, Ronaldo Cegato. Rizzoli that designed this moron to coach an important game like that. Rizzoli is the piece of shit blonde guy that couldn't even see Montari's goal 1 meter inside the net. What does this guy do? He puts this guy, Fabri,
okay, Tommy,
to coach a game.
Okay, Tommy, let me ask you something.
So that important.
Now, forget
two clear penalties not given.
But they made us pay for our mistakes, Tommy. That's what it comes down to, is it not? Calabria's mistake. We could have came out at them with a point.
Calabria's not. Let me tell you something. Even if there was gonna be no mistake of Calabria, how do you expect us to win when the referees are paid off, bought? The championship is bought by Juventus.
Come on, Tommy.
Figure this one out. How many? Just it's common sense.
Why would you
How many
think?
appearances does Juventus have in Champions League?
No, okay, well,
How
hold on.
many
Before
appearances?
Champions,
Maybe
you actually
34,
think
35?
you actually think, Tommy, seriously, that a team like now? I want you to tell me seriously, okay? You actually
They
think?
already have done. Yes, in 2004 and 2005. Why did Monchi get almost went almost
Yeah,
to jail?
yes, but that was when we had a Sette Signorine when the Scudetto race was a 5-16 thing. The Scudetto has been won for the last 8 years.
But let me tell you something. Nobody's going to take that away from it. It's been bought. Referees are bought, and the championship they buy it. They were so corrupted that even last year they were taking it, that he went with La Curva, with Nord, Torino, whatever he was doing with the Chiefs. This guy is a corrupt president.
Okay, so let's move this over to Saturday's game. Are first of all 4-3-3, or do you go with two strikers?
I go with two strikers. That's another thing. That's another thing.
What?
Look, I got nothing against Borini. I don't have anything against Borini.
It's just
Per l'amore di Dio, yeah.
But how could you start Borini right off the bat when you have a guy like Cutrone on the bench? You gotta be bad. So Borini is good. Make him come in. Make him come in maybe 15 minutes before the end of the game, 20 minutes before the end, to cool things down. But don't keep a guy like Cutrone on the bench. And you bench him the whole game. Almost. It's insane.
But what's more insane, Tommy, is that how are we still tied for fourth spot? That's 1 point.
Because look, that was really. Who would have thought Lazio was going to lose to Las Palmas?
Everybody else has been losing,
You know
right?
what I mean? And I mean, we got lucky. But look, Atalanta's already at the same spot where we are.
And so, are you still with the same belief we're making Champions League or no?
No,
So
I'm telling you, we're not. It's pathetic. Like last month, we thought it was done. It was clinched. All of a sudden, in about a month, everything has turned around. We haven't won a game in a month.
Yeah, that's.
Since Inter, we haven't won anything. Against Udinese last Tuesday, we were very lucky. If it wasn't for Reina, we were going to even lose that game.
Giuseppe Reina. Giuseppe Reina, yeah. We baptized him Giuseppe. No more Pepe Reina.
Yeah, but that's it. If it wasn't for him, we would have even lost that game. I mean, there's no more excuse. Para i picchi, para pacchi, che non si gioca, this and that, l'arbitro ci sta con... Okay, so against Juventus, everybody knew that the referee was gonna, regardless what, he was gonna make horrible calls against us. I said that from the beginning of the start. I knew that. But there's no excuse in losing points against Udinese and against Inter. I'm sorry.
That's very
no
true.
Excuse whatsoever.
Samp, not Inter.
Against Sam, yeah, against Samp, and but no, you're 100% right. So, do we see you with this Saturday?
This Saturday I'm gonna be there. That's for guaranteed, for sure. I'm gonna be there. Only this Saturday. One thing came up at the last minute. I couldn't make it. But if I was gonna be there, I was gonna probably destroy the TV.
Most probably, because we were all pissed off, man. We were really aggravated everybody, and so guys, you've heard it here.
Did you see the Alexandro? They followed the handball. That was clearly.
And the pull on Castillejo, the pull.
There's the pull on Castillejo. There's the kicking of Mandzukic to
Romagnoli.
Yeah.
And
Romagnoli, and that wasn't even given a red card. If it was me, the ball that dive that he took, I would have given him a straight red.
Straight.
You want to make things fair? Give him a straight red.
Straight red, yeah.
no, but now
Straight red, because let me tell you something. It's been years, and it's becoming pathetic watching a team like that has a lot of champions on the field winning with the help of a ref. call those guys champions. And if I were Juventino, I would go hide.
Oh, so you guys,
Because
do you
winning like that, and it's not been, it's one game. It's all the games like that they win. With the help of a ref. And until la Federazione Italia Gioco Calcio doesn't figure out that all these
FIGC.
referees are bought, well, next year, it's going to be the same story.
most probably. But here's to hoping. Here's to us watching the game on Saturday.
We have to stay positive, Tom. We
It's
have
our
to
Champions
believe
League
in for it.
final, man. We gotta believe. Ci credo.
Look, I told you, I hope we do the champion because this is it. If we could still stay in fourth place on Saturday, after Saturday, let's say on Monday, next Monday, we're still going to be in fourth place. We got a good chance.
All right, guys.
If we lose the fourth spot, things don't look good.
So we already hear from Nostradamus Tommy, but thank you, and always a pleasure speaking to you on Monday nights. And
Always said it. You guys are the best. The best. And the podcast is numero uno. If it wasn't for you guys...
if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be numero uno, Tommy.
It's you guys. You guys are the best.
Thanks,
Siete i
Tommy.
migliori, amici miei.
Thank you very much.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Milan.
Have a good night.
You too. Ciao.
See, that's the best about the Milan club, right? We would have never met Tommy
No.
before, right? So that's what makes it so great. So, guys,
Indigestion.
he didn't send.
No?
He did not send.
Oh, he's leaving it up to us.
Do we even go with the indigestion?
Well,
I
mine
think-
might be different, but whatever.
I think honestly, the indigestion for me would be like, what was the whole point of this meeting today? Did you just come out to meet us and say we made a mistake with everybody in the world that said they made mistakes can be made? But tell me, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna retake the game, which people were talking about that before, but I just didn't get it. I just didn't get what was the whole hoopla and the media. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do. What's the point? What's the point? But I did like at least Gattuso not taking the scapegoat and not just no alibis. We didn't play good. That's it. That's all. But for me, it was this whole
Not that
meeting.
we didn't play good. We made mistakes.
We made mistakes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Steve,
sorry.
you're
For me, mine is going to Sky Calcio.
see.
And I can't believe I'm saying this because he's iconic for me. His voice resonance World Cup. Fabio Perez.
What was he?
Because Fabio, Mr. Caressa said, you know what, it's better, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's better to have tried this ref out because they want to try refs out when Juve is up 20 points than next year when there's maybe something to play for. Now, that's not something that you want to say on national team.
No.
That's not something that you want to say after that particular ref had probably the worst game of his life, of his professional career.
Mm-hmm.
That's not something that you want to say when you are a figure who should be neutral. Now, I don't know if he's a Juventine, I don't know who he's a tifoso of, but you cannot come out and say that. Because it just reflects badly.
It reflects bad, even though you didn't mean it that way. There, it's just like
And exactly, and maybe, you know what, I'm just saying it's something negative that gave me indigestion because I started to think, why is he saying that? Am I taking it wrong? Am I taking it the wrong way? Am I looking at it from the standpoint of a Milanese? We do Milan Weekly Podcast, guys. We don't hide it. We're Milan Weekly Podcast. I'm biased towards Milan. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing it. If I would be doing a Calcio show, would I be able to hold back my bias for Milan? I don't know. But I would make it clear.
feel good moment goes to Giuseppe Reina, that he just came out and said, well, like, this is always the same situation. You go over there, this is what happens. Avanti ragazzi, let's go for this Champions League.
Giuseppe Reina was also on episode 4 of Gamora, season 4.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's the
Gianni Salvestano. Camaronna da combine.
But anyways, I like this name that you gave. No, what is this? Pepe Reina. Giuseppe Reina. Any good
Feel good moment.
brioche
Frank the Tank is back. Wow, did I feel good. Milan Twitter. Everybody who dissed Frank the Tank should tweet out, I apologize to Frank.
And like I was mentioning before, though I'm not saying it was all him, but the one factor that was not present in those games that we didn't show up was Frank Kessie, guys. So
Bakayoko, La Terza Gamba, had a hell of a game as well.
For you guys that don't speak Italian, Maurizio was saying that Bakayoko assisted with his third leg. You guys wouldn't
use your imagination.
Exactly. Saturday, big game.
Forza Milan,
and you know what?
I'm not predicting no scores, no nothing. I just want the same team out.
But we'll do one thing.
Except
we promise you here live. We're taking a quick video with Tommy, so you guys can put a face to the voice, or maybe he wants to be mystical, like the legend, or presidente.
Or presidente.
Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan.
Ciao.